The massive space station called Nexus Prime floated in the darkness between three star systems. It was a place where no single empire ruled. Here, the greatest powers of the galaxy could meet without fear of attack. Today, something important was happening. The leaders of three mighty empires had come together to talk about a growing problem. Admiral Hyunwoo stood quietly in the corner of the great meeting hall. He wore a simple uniform that looked plain next to the bright colors and shining metals of the alien leaders. His dark eyes watched everything, but he said nothing. Most of the aliens in the room had forgotten he was even there. At the center of the hall sat Empress Nari of the Zilithian Empire. Her skin was blue like deep ocean water, and her eyes glowed with a soft purple light. She had ruled her empire for over 200 years. Her ships controlled more than 1,000 star systems. When she spoke, entire worlds listened. "These attacks are getting worse," Empress Nari said. Her voice was cold and sharp. "Last week they hit 3 more of our mining colonies. They took everything and left no one alive to tell us who they were." Commander Dongmin nodded his large head. He was from the Valkyran Empire, and he looked like a giant bear that walked on 2 legs. His people were known for their strength in battle. His empire was smaller than the others, but his soldiers were feared across the galaxy. "My fleets have lost 12 cargo ships this month," Dongmin growled. "These raiders are fast. They appear from nowhere, attack hard, and disappear before we can fight back. But they are still just pirates. Pirates with stolen technology, nothing more." Ambassador Ginny spoke next. She was thin and tall, with skin that changed colors based on her feelings. Right now, it was showing red patches of anger. She represented the Corvani Federation, the largest empire in the galaxy. "Our trade routes are being disrupted," Ginny said. "The attacks follow patterns that suggest intelligence gathering. These are not random pirate raids. Someone is studying our movements, learning our weaknesses." Empress Nari laughed, and the sound was like breaking glass. "You give these primitives too much credit, Ginny. What could they possibly learn that would help them against us? We have ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. Our technology is beyond anything these small raiders could understand." Hyunwoo listened to all of this without moving. His face showed no emotion, but inside he was thinking hard. These aliens had no idea what they were really facing. They thought the raids were random attacks by desperate pirates. They could not imagine that someone might be planning something much bigger. The attacks they talked about were not random at all. Each one had been carefully planned by Earth's military leaders. Human ships built in secret shipyards hidden in asteroid fields had been studying alien technology for months. Every raid brought back new information about alien weapons, shields, and tactics. "Perhaps we should combine our forces," Commander Dongmin suggested. "A joint fleet could hunt down these raiders and destroy them completely. Show the galaxy what happens when someone dares to attack us." The 3 leaders began to discuss their plan. They would send their best ships and most experienced commanders. They would hunt down every raider ship and destroy it. They would make an example that would keep other species from getting similar ideas. Hyunwoo knew this was exactly what Earth's leaders had hoped would happen. The 3 empires were proud and angry. They would act without thinking carefully. They would send their forces away from their home systems, making themselves weaker. "What about you, human?" Empress Nari suddenly asked. "Your people are new to space travel. What do you think of these attacks?" All eyes in the room turned to Hyunwoo. He had been so quiet that many had forgotten about the Earth representative. Some of the alien leaders looked amused. Others seemed annoyed that a human was even allowed in this important meeting. "Earth is still learning about galactic affairs," Hyunwoo said simply. His voice was calm and respectful. "We are grateful for the protection our trade agreements provide. These attacks have not reached our small territory." Several aliens chuckled at this. Earth controlled only 1 star system. Their ships were few and seemed primitive compared to alien technology. Most galactic powers saw humans as barely more advanced than animals. "Of course the raiders have not bothered you," Ginny said with a smile that did not reach her eyes. "What could they possibly want from such a small, weak civilization? You have nothing worth taking." Hyunwoo nodded as if he agreed completely. "We are indeed fortunate to be beneath their notice." Commander Dongmin stood up from his chair. Even sitting, he was taller than most humans. Standing, he looked like a mountain of fur and muscle. "Enough talk," he declared. "We will gather our fleets, 300 ships from each empire. We will sweep through every system where these attacks have happened. We will find their base and crush it. When we are done, no one will dare to attack the 3 empires again." Empress Nari's eyes glowed brighter with excitement. Yes, we will remind the galaxy why we rule and others serve. These raiders think they are clever, but they have never faced the combined might of our empires. The three leaders began making detailed plans. They would meet their fleets at a staging area in 1 week. From there, they would begin hunting. They talked about which systems to search first, how to coordinate their different types of ships, and what to do with any raiders they captured. Hyunwoo listened to everything. He memorized ship numbers, fleet positions, and timing. All of this information would be very useful to Earth's military planners. I should return to Earth and inform my government of these developments, Hyunwoo said when there was a pause in the discussion. Yes, run along, little human, Empress Nari said without looking at him. Tell your leaders how the great empires will soon make space safe again. Hyunwoo bowed politely to each of the leaders. He walked slowly toward the exit, still listening to their conversation. They were already arguing about who would get the largest share of credit when the raids were stopped. As he left the meeting hall, Hyunwoo passed through several checkpoints. His diplomatic credentials allowed him to move freely around the station. No one suspected that the quiet human ambassador was doing anything more than his normal duties. In his private quarters on the human diplomatic ship, Hyunwoo activated a secure communication system. The message he sent was short and encoded. To anyone listening, it would sound like a routine report about trade negotiations. But the real meaning was clear to those who knew how to read it. The three empires are taking the bait. They will commit major fleet elements to hunting operations within 7 standard days. Phase 2 approved. Begin final preparations. On Earth, military leaders would receive this message and smile. For years, they had been preparing for this moment. The alien empires thought they were the hunters, but they were about to become the hunted. The raids had served their purpose. Earth now knew how alien fleets moved, how they communicated, and how they fought. More importantly, the aliens had revealed their arrogance and their blind spots. Soon, the empires would learn that they had badly underestimated the small blue planet on the edge of galactic civilization. But by then, it would be too late to change their plans. Hyunwoo looked out at the stars through his small window. Somewhere out there, human ships were already moving into position. The greatest military operation in Earth's history was about to begin. The aliens thought they were dealing with primitive raiders. They had no idea they were about to face humanity's carefully planned response to centuries of galactic oppression. 3 weeks after the meeting at Nexus Prime, a small human ship appeared at the edge of the Galactic Council's space. The ship was called the Terra's Voice, and it carried the most important diplomatic mission in Earth's history. Captain Taehyung stood on the bridge of his vessel, watching the massive alien structures grow larger on the main screen. The Galactic Council's headquarters was built inside a hollow moon. Thousands of ships from dozens of different species moved in and out of its docking bays every day. "Are you ready for this?" asked Dr. So Young. She was Earth's best expert on alien cultures and languages. For 5 years, she had studied every piece of information that human spies had gathered about galactic civilization. As ready as anyone can be for making first contact with people who already think they own us, Taehyung replied. He was a career military officer, but today he wore the simple blue uniform of Earth's diplomatic service. Lieutenant Woo Jin checked his security systems one more time. His job was to protect the diplomatic team, but his real mission was much more important. Hidden in the ship's hull were the most advanced scanning devices Earth had ever built. While the diplomats talked, his equipment would be mapping every detail of alien technology and defenses. High Counselor Yeon-soo reviewed her notes one final time. She was Earth's most experienced diplomat, and she would lead the talks. But even she had never faced anything like this before. Today, humanity would officially announce itself to the galaxy. "Incoming transmission," reported the communications officer. "They're giving us permission to dock." The Terra's voice slowly moved toward the docking bay assigned to them. Through the windows, they could see dozens of alien ship designs. Some looked like giant insects made of metal. Others were smooth and curved like eggs. A few seemed to be made entirely of crystal that glowed with inner light. "Look at the size of some of those ships," whispered Woo Jin. "That one there must be 3 kilometers long." "Size isn't everything," Taehyung said quietly. "Remember what we learned about their shields and weapons. Impressive looking, but they follow predictable patterns." As their ship settled into the docking bay, the humans could see aliens gathering to watch them arrive. Most had never seen a human before. Some pointed and made sounds that might have been laughter. Others just stared with what looked like curiosity or contempt. The human delegation walked through the station's corridors toward the main council chamber. Everywhere they went, aliens stopped what they were doing to look at them. The humans were smaller than most species, and their technology looked simple compared to the advanced devices around them. They think we're primitives, So Young observed quietly. Good, Yansu replied. Let them keep thinking that. The council chamber was enormous. Representatives from over 50 different species sat in raised seats that formed a circle around a central speaking area. At the highest level sat the three most powerful leaders: Empress Nari, Commander Dongmin, and Ambassador Jin-A. High Counselor Yansu walked to the center of the room and bowed respectfully. The chamber fell silent as hundreds of alien eyes focused on the small human delegation. Honored representatives of the Galactic Council, Yansu began. I bring greetings from the people of Earth and the Terran Federation. We come in peace, seeking to join the galactic community as friends and partners. Several aliens made sounds that were probably laughter. One delegate, who looked like a giant lizard, spoke up loudly. Another primitive species wants to play with the adults, he said. How amusing. What could you possibly offer to civilizations that have mastered space for thousands of years? Empress Nari raised one hand for silence. Let the humans speak, she said. We are always interested in hearing from new species, no matter how limited their development might be. Yansu continued as if the insults had not bothered her. Earth offers trade, knowledge sharing, and friendship to all peaceful species. We believe that cooperation benefits everyone. How wonderfully naive, Commander Dongmin rumbled. But friendship is not how the galaxy works, little human. There are rules here, laws that keep order and prevent chaos. Jin-A leaned forward in her seat. Her skin had turned a pale yellow, which meant she was feeling amused. Yes, there are indeed rules. New species must accept guidance from their betters. You will be assigned a protectorate status under one of the major empires. What does that mean exactly? Taehyung asked. It means you will be protected and guided, Empress Nari explained. In return, you will provide tribute and follow our directions. You may trade only with approved species. Your ships may not leave the territory we assign to you without permission. So Young pretended to look shocked. And if we prefer to remain independent? The chamber erupted in various alien sounds of amusement. Some delegates were openly laughing at the human's question. Independence is not an option, Jin-A said firmly. New species always think they can remain free. But the galaxy is dangerous. There are pirates, raiders, hostile aliens. Without protection, your people would not survive. We are being generous, Commander Dongmin added. Most new species are simply conquered and enslaved. We are offering you a chance to serve willingly. Yansu looked around the chamber as if considering the offer carefully. This is a significant decision. We would need time to discuss this with our government. Of course, Empress Nari said graciously. We are not unreasonable. You have 30 standard days to consider our offer. After that, we will send a peacekeeping force to help you understand the benefits of cooperation. The threat was clear, but the humans showed no fear. Taehyung stepped forward slightly. And if Earth chooses to decline your generous offer? The chamber fell silent. Several aliens looked shocked that anyone would even ask such a question. No one declines, Jin-A said slowly. It would be unwise. We understand, Yansu said with a small bow. We will carry your message back to Earth and return with our answer. As the humans prepared to leave, Empress Nari called out to them. Before you go, we are curious about your ships. Our sensors detected some interesting design features. Dr. So Young had expected this question. Earth has developed some unique solutions to the challenges of space travel. We would be happy to share technical information as part of our future cooperation. How refreshing, Commander Dongmin said. Most species try to hide their primitive technology out of embarrassment. The humans were escorted back to their ship under what was supposed to be an honor guard, but was really a security detail. Several aliens followed them, trying to get closer looks at human equipment and technology. Back aboard the Terra's Voice, the humans maintained their diplomatic faces until the ship was clear of the station and moving away at full speed. "Did you get everything?" Taehyung asked Woo Jin. The lieutenant smiled for the first time since they had arrived. "More than we hoped for. Their technology is advanced but predictable. They follow standard patterns that our computers can analyze and counter." "Their defenses?" So Young asked. "Impressive against conventional attacks, but they have blind spots. They're used to fighting enemies who use similar technology and tactics." High Counselor Yeon Soo was already preparing her report. "They're exactly as arrogant as our intelligence suggested. They never considered that we might refuse their offer." "What's our next move?" Taehyung asked. "We go home and tell them that Earth respectfully declines their protection," Yeon-Soo said. "And then we prepare for their reaction." As the Terra's voice jumped to faster-than-light speed, heading back toward Earth, none of the humans looked worried about the threat they had just received. They had accomplished their mission perfectly. The aliens thought they had met another primitive species that would soon join the ranks of their subjects. They had no idea that the scanning equipment hidden in the human ship had mapped their entire defense network. More importantly, the aliens had revealed their mindset. They expected quick surrender followed by grateful submission. They could not imagine that any species would actually choose to fight against impossible odds. Earth's military leaders would be very interested in this information. The aliens' arrogance would be their weakness. On Earth, preparations for war continued, but now the planners knew exactly what they were facing and how to defeat it. Admiral Kyung-ho stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the blue planet grow larger on the main screen. Earth looked peaceful and defenseless from space. The Admiral smiled, showing teeth that were sharp like a predator's. This would be easier than he had expected. Behind him, the combined fleet of 3 empires moved through space like a dark cloud of death. 900 ships in total, the largest military force assembled in over 50 years. All of this power to crush one small world that had dared to refuse the galaxy's generous offer. "Any response from the planet?" Kyung-ho asked his communications officer. "Nothing, sir. No military challenges, no surrender offers. They seem to be ignoring us completely." General Haewon entered the bridge. She commanded the Valkyran portion of the fleet, and her people were eager for battle. "My ships are ready to begin bombardment as soon as you give the order." "Patience," Supreme Commander Seok-jin said as he joined them. "First, we give them one last chance to surrender. The Council prefers to avoid unnecessary destruction when possible." Kyung-ho nodded. "Open a channel to the planet." On Earth, Admiral Byung-soo received the alien transmission in his command center deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Around him, hundreds of officers monitored screens, showing the positions of every ship in the solar system. The alien fleet thought they were hidden behind Earth's moon, but human sensors had been tracking them for hours. "This is Admiral Kyung-ho of the Galactic Council Fleet." The transmission began. "You have refused our generous offer of protection. This was unwise. Surrender now, and your people will be treated with mercy." General Mi Young, who commanded Earth's orbital defenses, looked at Byung-soo with raised eyebrows. "Should we respond?" "Yes," Byung-soo said. "Open a channel." The transmission reached the alien fleet within seconds. Kyung-ho was surprised to hear from the humans so quickly. Most species took much longer to decide between surrender and destruction. "This is Admiral Byung-soo of Earth Defense Command," the voice said calmly. "We appreciate your offer, but Terra declines. Please leave our system immediately." The bridge of the alien flagship fell silent. Several officers looked at each other in shock. No one had expected such a direct refusal. General Haewon growled angrily. "They still refuse? After seeing our fleet, these humans are either very brave or very stupid." "I vote for stupid," Seok-jin said. "No species in galactic history has ever won against odds like these." Kyung-ho activated the fleet communication system. "All ships prepare for attack. We will teach these primitives why the galaxy's rules exist." The alien fleet moved out from behind Earth's moon in perfect formation. Their ships spread out in a pattern that had been used successfully for centuries. Large battleships in the center, faster cruisers on the flanks, and support vessels protected in the rear. As they approached Earth, they could see the human fleet waiting for them. about 60 ships of various sizes, arranged in what looked like a simple defensive line. The aliens were amused by how small and basic the human vessels appeared. Their ships looked like they were built in a scrapyard, one of Kyung-ho's officers commented. Don't underestimate them completely, the admiral warned. They must have some advanced technology to travel between stars. But certainly nothing that can threaten us. On Earth's moon, Captain Junho watched the alien fleet approach through his ship's sensors. He commanded a squadron of stealth corvettes that had been hidden on the moon's far side for weeks. His ships were invisible to alien sensors, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. All stealth units prepare for attack run Alpha, he transmitted on a secure channel. Wait for my signal. The alien fleet continued its approach, confident in their overwhelming advantage. They had done this same thing to dozens of worlds. The pattern never changed. Show up with massive force, demand surrender, and either accept submission or destroy resistance. Admiral Byung-soo watched the aliens move into his trap. Everything was going exactly according to plan. All orbital platforms prepare to activate on my command. Fleet units execute dispersal pattern 7. The human ships suddenly scattered in all directions. To the aliens, it looked like panic. They believed the humans were trying to run away. They're breaking formation, General Haewon reported with satisfaction, just as expected. Shall we pursue? Yes, Kyung-ho ordered. All ships advance. Destroy any vessel that tries to escape. The alien fleet accelerated toward Earth, chasing the scattered human ships. They were so focused on their prey that they didn't notice the space around them beginning to change. Suddenly, the darkness of space erupted with light and metal. Massive structures that had been hidden behind stealth fields became visible. Orbital defense platforms the size of cities appeared around Earth's equator. Each one bristled with weapons that could destroy battleships with single shots. What are those? Seokjin shouted in shock. Before anyone could answer, the scattered human ships revealed their true purpose. Instead of running away, they had moved into attack positions all around the alien fleet. What had looked like panic was actually a carefully planned tactical maneuver. More human ships appeared from behind asteroids, moons, and stealth fields. Hundreds of them. The 60 ships the aliens had seen were just the ones Earth had wanted them to see. Captain Junho's stealth corvette struck first, appearing directly behind the alien formation and launching targeted attacks on their command ships. The aliens had never seen ships that could become completely invisible. How many ships do they have? General Haewon demanded. Sensors are detecting new contacts every second, her tactical officer reported. Current count is over 800 human vessels. Admiral Kyung-ho stared at his tactical display in disbelief. The small defensive fleet had become a massive attacking force. Somehow the primitive humans had hidden most of their military from galactic intelligence. All ships return fire, he ordered. Show them the power of the three empires. The alien weapons fired, but their targets were no longer where they expected them to be. Human ships moved with impossible speed and coordination. Their formations flowed like water, always staying one step ahead of alien targeting systems. When the human weapons fired back, the results were devastating. Alien shields that had never been broken were torn apart by energy beams more powerful than anything in galactic arsenals. Ships that had survived hundreds of battles were destroyed by single hits from human railguns. How is this possible? Seokjin shouted over the noise of alarms. Their technology was supposed to be primitive. Admiral Byung-soo watched the battle from his command center with grim satisfaction. For years, Earth's scientists had studied captured alien technology. They had found ways to make it better, faster, and more deadly. The orbital defense platforms opened fire, and the result was like a storm of lightning in space. Alien battleships that had seemed unstoppable were cut apart by beams of pure energy. General Mi-young coordinated the platform attacks with precision. Target their command ships first. Break their coordination. The alien fleet tried to retreat, but they found themselves completely surrounded. Every escape route was blocked by human ships that seemed to appear from nowhere. We're trapped, General Haewon reported. They planned this perfectly. Kyung-ho realized the terrible truth. The humans had not just been preparing to defend themselves. They had been preparing to win. Everything about this encounter had been designed to lure the alien fleet into a trap. Send a distress signal to the Council, he ordered. Tell them the humans are more dangerous than we thought. But before the signal could be sent, Captain Junho's corvettes destroyed the flagship's communication array. The aliens could not call for help. The battle lasted only 3 hours. When it was over, the space around Earth was filled with the wreckage of alien ships. Of the 900 vessels that had come to conquer Earth, fewer than 50 escaped to carry news of the defeat back to their empires. Admiral Byung-soo opened a channel to the surviving alien ships. "This is Earth Defense Command. You are free to leave our system. Take this message to your leaders. Terra wants peace, but we are prepared for war. Do not return unless you come as friends." The alien survivors limped away from Earth's solar system, their pride shattered and their fleets destroyed. Behind them, human ships began collecting the wreckage and studying the alien technology they had captured. On the surface of Earth, people watched the battle through news broadcasts. They saw their planet's defenders triumph against impossible odds. They realized that Earth was no longer a small, helpless world at the mercy of galactic empires. The age of human independence had begun. The news of the fleet's destruction spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On the Zilithian homeworld, Empress Nari stared at the battle reports in complete silence. For the first time in 2 centuries, someone had defeated her forces. Not just defeated them, but destroyed them almost completely. "This cannot be accurate," she finally said to Supreme Admiral Dae-hyun. 900 ships do not simply disappear. There must be some mistake in the reports. Dae-hyun was one of the most experienced military commanders in the Empire. He had fought in dozens of wars and never lost a single battle. But now his hands were shaking as he held the datapad. "The reports are confirmed, Your Majesty. Only 47 ships survived the encounter. They all tell the same story. The humans were waiting for us with overwhelming force. On the Valkyran war world of Keth Prime, War Mistress Bo-Ra smashed her massive fist through a steel table. She was the most feared general in Valkyran history, and her rage was legendary even among her own people. "Impossible," she roared. "Our intelligence said they had fewer than 100 ships. How did they hide such a large fleet?" Her aide, a smaller Valkyran who was still twice the size of a human, trembled as he spoke. "The survivors report that human ships appeared from everywhere, hidden behind asteroids, cloaked by technology we have never seen, emerging from what appeared to be empty space. In the crystal spires of the Corvani capital, High Admiral Chang Min reviewed tactical recordings from the battle. His skin flickered through colors of confusion and disbelief as he watched human ships move in patterns that should have been impossible. "Their coordination is perfect," he told his staff. "Look at how they move. No communication delays, no confusion, no wasted movements. They fight like a single organism with 1,000 bodies." Back on Earth, Prime Minister Yoon-ji met with her military leaders in a secure conference room beneath the capital city. The room was filled with holographic displays showing star maps, fleet positions, and intelligence reports from across the galaxy. "The alien empires are mobilizing," Defense Secretary Sang-woo reported. "Our agents are reporting massive fleet movements in all 3 territories. They're calling in ships from every corner of their empires." Admiral Hyun-woo, who had returned from his diplomatic mission, pointed to several locations on the star map. "Intelligence suggests they're gathering at least 10,000 ships. This will be the largest military force in galactic history." "Good," Prime Minister Yoon-ji said calmly. "The larger their force, the more devastating their defeat will be." "Is Operation Prometheus ready?" "All elements are in position," Sang-woo confirmed. "Our deep cover agents have been preparing for this moment for 5 years." Across the galaxy, humans who had been living as refugees, traders, and workers on alien worlds began to receive coded messages. Agent Young-soo worked in a Zilithian shipyard, maintaining their most advanced warships. For 3 years, he had been installing tiny devices that looked like normal repair equipment. The message he received was simple: "Package delivery confirmed." Young-soo smiled and began his work. Within hours, the massive shipyard would experience accidents that would destroy half the Zilithian fleet before it could leave port. On a Valkyran military base, Operative Hyojin had spent 2 years working as a communications technician. She had access to their most secure networks and had been quietly installing software that appeared to be routine system updates. Her message was equally brief: network maintenance scheduled. She activated her hidden programs, and suddenly, the Valkyran military found themselves unable to communicate with their distant fleets. Orders could not be sent, reports could not be received, and coordination became impossible. Similar operations were taking place on hundreds of worlds across all three empires. Humans who had seemed like harmless civilians revealed themselves to be Earth's most skilled agents. Power plants experienced mysterious failures. Weapon factories suffered from computer viruses. Supply depots found their inventories had been contaminated. Empress Nari realized something was terribly wrong when her own palace lost power. "How can our most secure facilities be failing at the same time?" she demanded. "It's not random failures, Your Majesty," Admiral Daehyun reported grimly. "We're under attack. The humans have agents throughout our empire. This has been planned for years." War Mistress Bora came to the same conclusion when her primary weapon factory exploded. The blast was so powerful it could be seen from orbit. "They were already here," she growled. "Living among us, working for us, preparing for this day." High Admiral Chung Min watched his carefully planned fleet movements fall apart as his ships lost communication with each other. "We underestimated them completely," he admitted to his staff. "While we thought they were primitive and harmless, they were infiltrating our entire civilization." The scope of Earth's preparation was becoming clear. Every major military facility, communication center, and industrial complex in all three empires had human agents positioned nearby. The primitive species had been conducting the largest intelligence operation in galactic history. On Earth, the military leadership watched reports flow in from their agents across the galaxy. Operation Prometheus was exceeding all expectations. Zilithian fleet strength reduced by 60%, reported the intelligence chief. Valkyran command and control completely disrupted. Corvani supply lines severed. "What about their response?" Prime Minister Yoonji asked. "They're still trying to gather their remaining forces," Admiral Hyunwoo said. "But coordination is almost impossible now. Instead of one massive fleet, they'll be sending smaller groups that arrive at different times." Defense Secretary Sang-woo smiled grimly. "Perfect. We can defeat them one group at a time instead of facing their combined strength." The alien empires were learning that they faced an enemy unlike anything they had encountered before. Previous wars had been fought between similar civilizations using similar tactics. But humans thought differently, planned differently, and fought differently. While the aliens had focused on building bigger ships and more powerful weapons, humans had studied their enemies' weaknesses. While the aliens had relied on their technological superiority, humans had found ways to turn that technology against them. Most importantly, while the aliens had dismissed humanity as primitive and harmless, humans had been preparing for the day when they would have to fight for their survival. The first alien fleet to reach Earth would find a very different situation than their predecessors. Instead of facing an isolated human world, they would encounter a species that had been planning this war for longer than most aliens had been alive. The battle for Earth's freedom was about to enter its final phase. But now, instead of facing certain defeat, humanity held every advantage. The hunters had become the hunted, and the prey had revealed itself to be the ultimate predator. The combined alien armadas approached Earth's solar system like a dark storm covering the stars. 10,000 ships from three empires, representing the greatest military force in galactic history. Every vessel carried weapons capable of destroying planets. Every commander had decades of experience conquering worlds. Admiral Myung-soo commanded the Zilithian portion of the fleet from his massive flagship. The ship was 3 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to level a continent. Around him, his remaining forces moved in perfect formation despite the losses from human sabotage. "This time we know what to expect," he told his officers. "No more surprises. No more tricks. We will stay together and use our superior numbers to crush them." General Ji-won led the Valkyran forces with typical directness. Her ships were built for close combat, with thick armor and powerful short-range weapons. "Let the humans hide behind their tricks," she growled. "When we get close enough, we will tear them apart with our bare hands." Commander Kang Min controlled the Corvani fleet with cold precision. His people were masters of tactical coordination, and even with their communication problems, they maintained perfect discipline. "Victory is certain," he announced to his captains. "No single world can stand against the united strength of 3 empires." As the alien fleets reached the edge of Earth's solar system, they expected to face the same defensive force that had defeated their first expedition. Instead, their sensors detected only empty space. "And where are they?" Admiral Myung-soo demanded. "Earth should be crawling with defensive ships." "Long-range scans show minimal activity," his sensor officer reported. Perhaps they have withdrawn to make a last stand at their homeworld. The alien commanders were puzzled but not worried. If the humans wanted to concentrate all their forces around Earth, that would make the final battle easier. One decisive engagement would end the war. But as they moved deeper into the solar system, new contacts began appearing on their sensors. Ships emerging from behind asteroids, fleets rising from the surfaces of moons, massive formations that had been hiding in the shadow of gas giants. How many ships are we detecting? General G1 asked her tactical officer. Contacts are still appearing, General. Current count is over 2,000 human vessels. Fleet Admiral Inho stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the alien forces through the main display. He commanded Earth's primary battle fleet, and he had been waiting for this moment for 5 years. Signal all fleet commanders, he ordered. Execute Battle Plan Omega. Today we end this war. Admiral Yuna received the signal aboard her command ship in Earth's orbital defense grid. Her forces included not just the platforms that had surprised the first alien expedition, but massive new installations that had been built in secret. All orbital stations, prepare for full power engagement, she commanded. Make them regret coming to our home. General Taijin coordinated the defense from Earth's surface, commanding ground-based weapons that could strike targets in space. His installations were hidden across the planet, disguised as civilian structures. The alien fleet continued its advance, confident that numbers would overcome any human advantages. But as they moved toward Earth, they began to understand the true scope of what they faced. More human ships appeared from every direction. Not just hundreds, but thousands. Not just the small basic vessels they had expected, but massive warships that rivaled their own flagships in size and exceeded them in firepower. Where did they get so many ships? Commander Kang Min shouted at his intelligence officer. Unknown, sir. Our estimates of human industrial capacity were obviously incorrect. Captain He Young led an elite squadron of the newest human warships. Her vessels used technology that was decades ahead of anything the aliens possessed. All squadrons begin attack run. Show them what Earth's children can do. The human fleet moved with perfect coordination, their ships flowing around the alien formation like water around stones. Every movement was calculated, every attack precisely timed. The aliens opened fire first, launching everything they had at the human forces. But their weapons struck empty space. The human ships were no longer where the alien targeting system said they should be. When the humans fired back, the results were devastating. Alien shields that had protected their ships for centuries were torn apart by human weapons. Armor that had never been penetrated was sliced through like paper. Impossible. Admiral Myung-soo stared at his tactical display in horror. Their weapons are more powerful than ours. How can primitives have better technology than us? General Ji-won demanded. The answer was simple, though the aliens could not accept it. While they had spent centuries using the same technology and tactics, humans had been improving everything. Earth scientists had studied alien designs and made them better. Human engineers had found new ways to generate power, focus energy, and coordinate attacks. The orbital defense platforms around Earth opened fire, and space itself seemed to burn. Beams of energy more powerful than stellar flares reached across impossible distances to strike alien ships. Admiral Yuna coordinated the platform attacks with deadly precision. Target their command vessels. Break their ability to coordinate. The alien fleet began to break apart under the human assault. Ships that tried to retreat found their escape routes blocked. Vessels that attempted to regroup were picked apart by human squadrons that appeared from nowhere. We're surrounded, Commander Kang Min reported to his fellow commanders. They have us completely encircled. How is this possible? Admiral Myung-soo's voice was filled with desperation. We brought 10,000 ships. Fleet Admiral In-ho opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. Attention alien commanders. You are defeated. Surrender now and your surviving crews will be treated with mercy. The response came from General Ji-won. We are the conquerors of 100 worlds. We do not surrender to primitives. Then you will share the fate of your ships, In-ho replied calmly. The battle continued for 6 hours. When it ended, the space around Earth was filled with the wreckage of the greatest armada in galactic history, of the 10,000 ships that had come to conquer humanity. Fewer than 300 survived to flee back to their home territories. President Min-ho broadcast a message to the entire galaxy from Earth's capital. His words were transmitted to every world, every species, every civilization that could receive them. "People of the galaxy," he began, "today marks the end of an era. For too long, a few empires have ruled through fear and force. They have demanded submission from every new species they encountered. They have treated entire civilizations like property to be bought and sold. The president's image appeared on screens across thousands of worlds. Many species that had never seen a human before watched in amazement, as this small biped spoke with the authority of someone who had just defeated the galaxy's greatest. Ours in Terra has no desire for conquest." Minho continued. "We do not want to rule over others or force our beliefs on different species. But we will defend ourselves against any aggression. We will protect our freedom and the freedom of any who ask for our help." On the Zilithian homeworld, Empress Nari watched the broadcast in stunned silence. Her empire's fleets were destroyed. Her military bases were in ruins. Her power was broken. War Mistress Bora received the transmission on her flagship as she fled back toward Valkaran space. Around her, the survivors of her once mighty fleet limped homeward in shame. High Admiral Changmin listened to the human president's words while trying to restore order to his scattered forces. The Corvani Federation's carefully planned expansion had become a desperate fight for survival. "The age of galactic empires ruling through fear is over," President Minho declared. "Humanity stands ready to meet any who come in peace as equals, and any who come with violence as enemies." Across the galaxy, subject species that had lived under alien rule for centuries began to whisper among themselves. If humans could defeat the three great empires, perhaps freedom was possible for others as well. On Earth, people celebrated in the streets. They had faced the combined might of half the galaxy and emerged victorious. Their small blue world had announced itself to the universe as a power that would not be ignored or conquered. The human military began the long process of securing their victory. Captured alien technology would be studied and improved. New ships would be built to patrol Earth's expanding sphere of influence. Diplomatic missions would be sent to species that wanted to break free from imperial rule. But the most important victory was already complete. Humanity had proven that courage, intelligence, and determination could overcome any odds. The universe would never again underestimate the small species from the third planet of an unremarkable star. Terra had taken its place among the stars, not as a subject or servant, but as an equal. The galaxy would have to learn to live with humanity as partners rather than victims. And if any empire forgot that lesson, Earth's fleets would be ready to remind them.